Hello everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. Today is Wednesday, June 6, 2018. I just wanted to give you a snapshot, a ranking system that I've developed over the last week or so. So here on CoinMarketCap, the latest 24-hour change of cryptocurrencies. You can see there's a lot of red in there. It's a bit improved from last week, but still, nonetheless, it's still a very high percentage of red, meaning losing money. Okay, so as I said, I've created this new script here called Big Analyze Crypto Rank. Compiles all the charts, all the logic that I've used up to this point. So now we're going to try to rank cryptocurrency opportunities, and I've combined them all into hourly and weekly. I've dropped, not even including the monthly. I just don't find them very useful. So I've got this spreadsheet here called Crypto Rank. So I'm going to open it up in LibreOffice. I don't use Excel, but it's still an Excel spreadsheet. And a couple things I want to go over before I show you the details, the gory details, as they like to say. All right, so let's just talk a few things. So in here, as I said, we've got hourly and daily time frames only. We have here simple 1 or 0 on fib value, but the one that really is now driving the potential of taking on trades is this volume. So what I've done, depending upon the time frame I'm capturing, this volume is the latest volume available for that time period of when it was downloaded. So hourly, that's the latest volume on an hourly basis, or daily on a latest for the daily. So as you can see, it ranges from this to this, and it really has a huge impact on what pairs you take on. So I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to emphasize it's very, very, very important. And what it means is if your volume is very low, like here at 4.31 over an hour, your slippage on the exchange is going to be very great because no one's buying or selling this. So there's no point in taking on this pair, because if you can't sell or buy, that means you'll be stuck with a trade if you buy it, and you won't be able to fill it fast. And the other thing I've kind of noticed is a lot of these lower volume cryptocurrency pairs, I'm not saying they are, but there's a much higher likelihood versus something like this to move that price or to that volume. It's a very low probability of it being manipulated, unless the exchange is doing something nefarious. But out of all the exchanges I've seen and talked about among other people, Binance is still probably out of the cleanest of the dirty shirts, or more, I won't say most reliable, but out of all of them, the most reliable. Okay, so there's that. The other thing is, with the lower volume, they can be probably manipulated by the founders to pump the price. But I've watched a video from the founder or CEO of the Binance, and they obviously don't encourage it because it's going to lose trust on the entire exchange that no one would want to trade on. So knowing that, that is a huge factor. The other thing is, I'm going to walk you through the columns here. So we have the time frame again, hourly, daily. The fib value is basically, if you've looked at the charts, and I'll show you the charts in detail as we get into it, the pair has to be either under the gold zone or within the gold zone. We don't want to trade when it's above the gold zone because it means it's overvalued. The signal is an interesting one. I'm going to break this out later on, but right now we're going to assume a long-only strategy. But because the markets are so bad and it's so bearish in the cryptocurrency world, there are probably a lot of shorting opportunities. For me, my experience, I find shorting can be a tough game. But if this strategy, or if this entire, call it, system works, I see no reason to short as I test this in the initial phase. So This really is just a signal for longs. But as I said, I'm going to have a buy and a sell signal. And that's again generated, if you have seen my charts, the moving averages, crosses. In here throughout, you will notice that I don't have any moving averages. That's because they're all part of this signal. And it's just a simple up arrow or green arrow. And from what I've seen, it's very, very reliable. Here we have the head and shoulder difference. If there's a head and shoulders above, if you've been watching my head and shoulder videos on the automated one, this is where you get the little dot. I have ability when I generate a head and shoulder, there's the neckline. So sometimes there will be that price, the latest price will break through that neckline if I am going to long and the price eventually does break or even touch the neckline. And then there's an associated dot, be it green or blue, and that means the expected move will be the distance between the neckline and the green line. Again, I can show you that in more detail. So this right here is the difference in that price between the neck and the green, the expected move. Here is the trend difference. When the trend is broken, we also track the difference there between the price and the trend line. So the higher the trend, but again, the question is, do I normalize all the data to show the relation and show how it's all relative? Because this is just raw data. So if the price is minute, we need to normalize the data, I think. We've talked about the volume, the momentum. These two are from my statistical analysis. If you've seen my statistics, I have the ability to do kurtosis, mean, all that other fancy stuff. But right now I'm trying to keep it simple on momentum. So these are the amount of out of 1,000. So my look back on all this data is 1,000 hours or 1,000 days. Now ranges, the range of that can be different depending upon when the cryptocurrency was initialized on the exchange. So you may have a cryptocurrency may have been on the exchange for 6 months, whereas something like Bitcoin may have been on the exchange for 2 years, let's say. So that's the difference. So when you see these differences like this daily here on this pair of 151 up versus, actually that's bad, it's Bitcoin. But there will be some differences here on this wave BNB pair where that may only have 80 moves, and that's daily. So I do have the ability to track the number of daily moves, well, if it's daily, or hourly moves or hourly returns out of the entire 1,000. Also, we've talked about standard deviation. This is important if you believe in volatility of the crypto pair. So as a result, most people that are conservative would probably want to go with a lesser volatile currency pair. So let me load up my channel here. So I'm going to show you some of the videos that may be helpful. Brian here. If you come under, come under my playlist, I have the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. These two playlists, and they'll show you all the different all the different videos and research I put into these things. But let me just go back. A better way to search for anything that you're interested in. So in my case, standard deviation. Let me just show you some of the videos here. Okay, just as an example, Hey everybody, Brian here. Shut up. In here, I've done a video on the assessing different pairs, and if you want to know about the stats, just go back to the main part of the channel and just go under stats. In there, you'll find out how I break out all this different stats. So this one is what I'm just about to tell you about the volatile, most volatile and highest momentum. So these are the two stats that I really pay attention to when it comes to stats. So here is another one I've just added, the harmonic pattern. Now initially when I started my call it research or whatever, what I did was I was looking for, and I'll just do a sort on this. Now again, I can do all of this automated through, these are all data frames in Python or Pandas or NumPy, I don't know. Anyway, so what we've done is we've sorted by volume. So you can see here who's got the higher volume. So that's important. So if I did another sort here on K, which is the harmonic pattern, descending. Okay. So what you'll find here is I have a harmonic pattern. Again, this is only for long. So we know we can have a potential buying opportunity when we combine, if there is a harmonic pattern on top of a signal. Once we have those two, from what I've seen, high probability, it is a valid entry, okay? But I have to make this column a lot more intelligent, because if I include the shorting capability, I want to know what kind of pattern, harmonic pattern it is. If it's a Gartley, ABC, bad butterfly, and also what I want to know if it's bullish or bearish. Now here in the signal, what I also want to break out is a buy or a sell signal. So between these two, signal and harmonic pattern, I will be able to get some pretty good entry signals between the two. So essentially what I've done currently is I've developed in a way where, is there a harmonic pattern? The one represents yes, but we don't know what kind of harmonic pattern. And then combine that with the signal, we can then say, which is usually a signal either in the last hour or the last 24 hours or the last day, if it's daily, on the daily time frame. So if we know that we have, again, a completed harmonic pattern and a buy, in our case, because it's long only, a buy signal, then chances are we've got a pretty strong likelihood that we have a decent opportunity to enter in the markets. But you also got to factor in all these other factors of these other indicators to make sure that it's something you want to take on in terms of risk, volume, volatility of the currency pair. But we have all that data now in this one snapshot for that currency pair. So between all that, I'm now going to sort by signal, which is column E. And I'm going to show you some charts. So this is probably right now, currently the way the data is developed, or this is developed, that we have here some opportunities here. I'm going to ignore this one because I don't know if you've seen the videos on how I feel about hourly data, and this is an hourly time frame. But I do like my daily charts. Okay, so we have our daily charts with a positive signal. The other thing we want to look for in this snapshot is to make sure that they are undervalued, that they're not overpriced. Okay, so we have to have a buy signal in the last day. We also have to make sure we have a fib value, which is basically, it is really a buying opportunity. Do we have trend? Usually these are the numbers that we can rely on top of the volume. So again, if I wanted to, just by looking at this, and again I can automate, these are hourly. So this one right here is the chat Ethereum. Is that a one to take on that I will risk because of the low volume? Is this worth taking on, this BNT Ethereum? or this other one. So what I'm saying is this is a definitely good opportunity because of the volume here. But comparatively to all these other ones, I can then allocate percent-wise based upon the volume what risk I'm willing to take on, just alone from a portfolio perspective, how much I should allocate. Let's say if I want to allocate $100 or $1,000 a day in trading, obviously I want to allocate more dollars, more capital to this one if the just based on the volume alone. So, and then you can determine your allocation of dollars that you want to allocate for the day for these. If I was to just purely just on this information alone allocate how much of capital I want to deploy each day based just on the volume alone. But then I also have, what about trend? What about which has a stronger trend over the last year or so? We can also see momentum's another good one. So you can see here we've got a much better momentum here, right here, because the momentum's much higher than the other ones. So we can see, but again, we have to see overall. That's over the last. I can't remember the time period. Like it just depends upon, but I can verify that through the charts, which we'll do in a minute. But we have the momentum to measure on, and now we also have the volatility to measure. So we can see here this one is less volatile than some of these other ones. So this one probably obviously be a much more volatile. This one, this GSX Ethereum, is a more volatile. And of course, I'm going to make this a little more intelligent, saying, is there any harmonic patterns to overlay our decision on the entry? Okay, so these are pretty good. So let's check out the charts. And again, I just want to remind you that this data is over a week old. So don't take this literally, but I just want to show you the mechanics of it and the power of it. Okay, so let's go over to our charts right here. Okay, so I guess our best one, this is a fairly volatile pair, this NAV BTC. So let me just check that one out. NAV BTC, so we only want the daily because that's all we're focusing on. So if I look at the trend, but you see it's been above trend, even though the trend overall is long-term down, it is above trend. So I don't think you'll make a ton of money at it, but in a bear market, that's not a bad thing. And again, as I said, this overall price right here is lower than the 0.382, or is lower than this is our gold zone right here, these two, the pink and the gray. Let me just maximize this. So you can see here the 0.382, 0.618 is our gold zone, according to how I did it. Could be wrong based upon other Fibonacci experts out there. So actually, did I get the wrong? So we want NAV BTC. Let me just make sure I got. So you've seen that. So this is the one I want to show. So yeah, it's well, like this is the daily, 1 day. It's definitely below that gold zone. Here the 0.382 and the 618 for Fibonacci levels. So again, if you look at the signals, this is what we're looking for right here, right there. If you look at that buy, that's our buy signal that generates this guy. So generally, that's a confirmed moving average cross. Woot woot. That's a lot of people use that. If you look at historically, you're not going to be making oodles of money on the price. Here we had a buy signal and it came down, and this cross looks pretty good. So made a little bit of money. If you applied the ATR, you could have probably dumped here, gotten a little bit. Even though these are small moves, you got to understand this is a little buy signal, and this went up to from 0.00110 to 0.00115. That's almost a tiny move But if you put the right allocation, that's a nice return. And we got to concern that. But as I said earlier, we don't want to deal with the hourly because of NAV. Where's our hourly? Right here, NAV BTC. You'll see how noisy it is. Like if you go buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, it defeats the purpose of these buy-sell signals, and it gets very, very noisy. That's why I just would rather pay close attention to the daily and only the daily, and only pay attention to the hourly, because you won't do all that well on the hourly. I find it just smooths out a lot of that extra volatility. So there is no real. If I took a look at the head and shoulder of this thing, it probably doesn't even generate one. Yeah, see, there's no head and shoulder generated on the daily. So that's why it's 0. The trend we talked about, and he's shown you, the volume is very high, which is good. Momentum, statistically, I could probably pull up the chart for that. Same with the standard deviation and the pattern. There is no harmonic pattern for this. Well, I shouldn't say that, but again, let me just open up another directory here and load up that load up the harmonic charts. Where are you? Harmonics. There we go. So if I look at the charts for that, let's see if there is any. So here, as I said, in the harmonic patterns, we get bearish, and it could be a bat, or a butterfly, or a Gartley, and it's all not only bearish and bullish. So that's the cool thing about this. So here's the NAV BTC has been generated. So what we want, NAV BTC. So a bearish signal, that has been signaled for the hourly. But what about any on the daily? There's a better way to do this. Let me just show you the amount of charts that get generated first as a side. A lot of people want to know about that. So analyze, chart, Binance. So here's all the charts that I just showed you earlier from the analyze. So we want the PNG, WC, word count. So I'm just under 3,000. A lot of these are useless, but the ones that we're ranking here can be useful. But they're generated automatically through the scripts that I've written. So again, going back to our terminal, so we are wanting to go into the harmonics, chart, Binance. Is that the right one we want? Yep. Okay, so what I can do is I can go, so NAV, BTC, PNG. So what we have is just bearish. So we only have bearish signals on the harmonic patterns generated on the hourly basis. So again, that just adds to the risk of taking on the trade. But on the daily, it looks good. But the hourly, I don't know. So if we look at this one, the chat Ethereum, the volume's low. I wouldn't even take that on because the momentum is much higher in the NAV BTC versus this other one. But just for kicks, we're going to check out some of the charts. So that's chat. No, I want this one. So if I look at chat, Ethereum. So we want the daily. So again, initially what kicked this off is that signal that's verified. It is undervalued. What's the trend like? Down, but again, you see it's above that trend. Not great, but you could probably see make some money there. So the next question is, are there any harmonic patterns developed for this thing? So let's check out that. So what we want is chat Ethereum. So here we have bullish on the hourly. So very interesting, very, very interesting. So we have 3 harmonic patterns generated. So that might be worth trading, even though the volume, the risk, real risk is against you because of the low volume. Not a lot of people are buying it. Not a lot of momentum, but for now that might be a pretty strong signal to get in, and that's hourly. So again, the reason why I create the hourly charts is if I decided to build automation and trade on an hourly basis, I can do that with just doing the same routine that I'm doing right now, but just do it and watch it on a hourly basis. So that looks pretty good. Same volatility as the other one. So who knows? That might be a good hourly intraday trading opportunity. So next one we're looking to look at is this GXF. Okay, let me just verify if this is in the top 100 currencies. So let me just see if we have it. See, it's not to be found, but let's see what we have here, if this thing works. GSX Ethereum. Well, somebody's got it. Let me just do, see if I can get a proper chart on this. Charts and quotes trading view. This will probably come up on Crypto, who's the provider. See, it's not, so go all the way up to 0.08. Strong buy. There you go. Let me just check on the other ones. Now again, this is a week data old. Let's check out this one while we're here, based upon what TradingView says. Chatcoin Ethereum. So that's a sell. It was a weak data, but chat looks like a really nice entry. Let's check out the other one. Nav BTC. I'm going to do another run of the latest data. So again, this is out of sync by a week. Sell. Nav idea, nav short term, retracement. Okay, but we'll get more detail out of that. So this one looks good, even according to TradingView. A little more volatile. The trend is, well, let's check it out. That was GS, so we are doing this one, GSX. GSX. GX. GX. GXFS Ethereum. Trend, hourly, daily. So again, it's this guy right here, but the moves are kind of unpredictable. Some of them 0.04 to roughly, depends, even a wick is breaking through that 0.006. So when you factor that in, that could be another, I'd say 50% move. Who knows? But this one's a nice one. Back in March, 0.0 for all the way up to 0.07. That's a nice move. Okay, so we've got the, let's see our trend. See, it just spikes up. Signal. Oh, Fibonacci. Just entering in our break. So that who knows where that's at now. But that looks pretty good, even though it's a low. Actually, the volume's not too bad. So let's look at this last one here. Momentum looks pretty good here on the BNT Ethereum. Let's check that out. Like I said, I'll eventually get to know these cryptos as I work with them. It's only 2 weeks now, so please forgive me. BNT Ethereum. So we want the daily. Let's check out the signal here. See here, buy, sell. Here's a nice move. But we've got to buy right here. And what's our trend looking like? Down, but it's above trend, which is good. And again, it's in our gold zone. And yeah. So if I look at the last two, see if I can do, if there's any harmonic patterns generated. BNT Ethereum. So we do have, it's a bullish hourly on that one, so that's good. GSX Ethereum. You see, there's no head and shoulder. Let's just check out this last one here for the harmonic pattern. So GSG, XS, Ethereum, PNG. Yeah, again, we've got bearish. This is kind of confusing. It's hourly, and they're all hourly. So we have two bearish and one bullish. I probably would be very cautious on that one otherwise, but some of these are not too bad. They look good, but I just want to show you this ranking spreadsheet because it's very helpful now to be able to see things in a snapshot at that one point. And it's really I'm gonna try to make this a lot more intelligent and also include the shorting, which I'm sure there's going to be much more opportunity there. So I just wanted to put that out there for y'all. Let me know what you think, and we shall talk to you later.